Hello children, I am back here again with the last chapter of your science book. Yes, that is chapter 14. And the name of this chapter is Natural Disasters. Now children, look at these newspapers clipping. What are the headlines written? Yes. We saw the sea coming. We all ran, but God saves little. Indian monsoon flood claims 138 lives. Massive flood in Uttarakhand, etc. These are some natural events which occur all around. So children, what is natural disasters? Yes, a natural event that causes harm to life, property, animals and the environment are called the natural disasters. These disasters are caused due to the natural factors like temperature, pressure, etc. But some disasters are also caused due to the drastic climatic and weather changes. So, some such natural disasters are earthquake, volcano, cyclone, tsunami, flood, wildfires. So these are some of the natural disasters. So let's study in detail some of these disasters. So first is earthquake. Now children, what do you understand by the earthquake? Yes, it is the sudden shaking of the ground by the movements or the vibrations deep inside the earth. These vibrations release large amount of energy and causes the ground to shake. How does an earthquake occur? Children, as you have already learned about the layers of the earth. Yes, this outer layer is the crust where we live and it is made up of the rock plates. This next layer is mantle, which is made up of semi-molten rocks. This outer core is very hot, which consists of the molten metals like iron, nickel, etc. Now this inner core is the hottest layer of the earth and it is made up of the iron. So these are the layers of the earth. Now children, what happens? The layer of the earth under the plate is very hot. Why children? Because the core of the plate is extremely hot. Children, these are the plates. These plates are constantly moving. Such movement causes these plates to slide smoothly against each other. But children, sometimes what happens? The movement between the plates can be sudden, quick, giving rise to the earthquake. So, the point on the earth's surface where the earthquake starts is called the epicenter. Now children, how can we measure these earthquakes? Whether these are strong, mild, massive or severe? Yes, that means the measurement of the earthquakes. It is measured on the Richter scale and this scale was developed by the Charles Richter in the year 1935. This Richter scale is marked from the level 1 to 10 at the epicenter. That means Richter scale starts with the magnitude 0 and it goes up to 10. So let's see how it is measured. Now the earthquake of magnitude 1 can hardly be felt, but the magnitude of 2 and 3 is weak. 4 is light. The ones that measures the magnitude 5 is moderate. 6 strong. The earthquake of magnitude 7 is very strong. 8 is severe. 9 is violent and 10 is extreme. So on the basis of these scales, the earthquake is measured. And this can be detected with the help of an instrument. And you know children, what is that instrument called? That instrument is called seismograph. As you can see in this picture, this is the picture of seismograph through which the magnitude of earthquake can be measured. Seismograph consists of the frame seismograph. As you can see in this picture, this is the picture of seismograph through which the magnitude of earthquake can be measured. Seismograph consists of the frame. This is the rotating paper drum. This is pendulum, wire, and can you see this children pen happen? Now children, what happens as the earth trembles? This pendulum vibrate and makes the pen move over the paper wrapped on the drum. And this drum also rolls as the pen moves. And children, then what happens? Yes, this pen makes the pattern on the paper as you can see in this picture. See, these are the patterns which are obtained on the paper, and this pattern is called the seismograph. And the children, and the study of this earthquake is called seismology, and the person who studies this is called the seismologist. So children, what do you understand by seismogram, seismology and seismologist? Yes, a seismogram is a graph output by a seismograph. That means the pattern which was obtained on the paper. Yes, it is the record of the ground motion at the measuring station as the function of time. The study of the earthquake is called the seismology. And the people who study these earthquakes are called seismologists. So, these seismologists try to predict the earthquake so that the people who are likely to be affected can have time to move to the safe places, because these tremors are so strong that they causes the buildings, bridges and other structures to collapse, as you can see in these pictures. So this way children, earthquake occurs, it measures and it affects the life of the human. Now the next type of the natural disaster which we are going to discuss is volcanoes. Already you have studied about the volcanoes in the previous classes. Yes. So children, what is volcano? Yes. A volcano is an opening on the earth's surface which allows hot molten rocks, ash and gases to escape from below the surface. As you already studied in the previous chapters that the temperature is very high deep inside the earth. So due to the intensive heat and pressure, the hot molten rocks that come on the ground and flows is called the lava. This lava, when was under the ground, what was it called? You know now, you have learned in the previous chapters. Yes, it is called the magma. Some volcanoes, children, are formed under the water also. And children, when the lava cool down, the area so formed is look like a new island. And children, what happens when this volcano erupt? Yes, as you can see in the picture, lava, ash and gases are released. Now let's have a closer look on the types of volcanoes. There are three types of volcanoes: active volcanoes, dormant volcanoes, extinct volcanoes. Let's study one by one each of them. So first is active volcanoes. So children, what do you understand by this active volcanoes? Yes. Volcanoes that have erupted in the recent years and may erupt any time are called active volcanoes. That means children, some volcanoes which have already erupted in the recent years, but there is a chance that they can erupt again any time. So these volcanoes are called the active volcano. And the children, most active volcanoes are found in the Pacific areas. And the various examples of the active volcanoes are Mount Vesuvius, Mount Etna, Mount Fuji, etc. And you know one thing, children, the barren island is the only active volcano found in the Indian subcontinent. And where it is located? Yes, it is located in the Andaman and the Nicobar Island. Now, the second type of volcano is dormant volcanoes. Now, what are dormant volcanoes, children? Volcanoes that have not erupted in the recent year but may erupt in the future are called dormant volcanoes. That means there are some volcanoes which have not erupted in the past years, but there is a chance that they can erupt in the future, are called the dormant volcanoes. These dormant volcanoes are also known as, children, sleeping volcanoes. Why they are called sleeping volcanoes? Because they have not erupted in the recent years. And the various examples of the dormant volcanoes are Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Adziza. And where you found these volcanoes? That Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania and Mount Adziza in Canada. So these were the examples of the dormant volcanoes. Now let's see the third and the last type of volcano, that is extinct volcanoes. Now what do you understand by this extinct volcanoes? Yes, volcanoes which have stopped erupting permanently are called extinct volcanoes. Mount Kulal and Mount Badinyong are the examples of the extinct volcanoes. So children, these were the three types of volcanoes and their examples. Now moving ahead, let's see another natural disaster, that is tsunami waves. Here what is the spelling, children, of tsunami? Yes, T-S-U-N-A-M-I. Here children, T is silent. So children, it is pronounced as tsunami. And these tsunami waves are also known as tidal waves or the storm waves. Now children, what do you understand by tsunami? Yes, tsunami is caused by undersea earthquake, as you can see in the picture, or by severe hurricane or cyclone. These waves from the sea come rolling to the seashore. They causes the destructions within the seconds. These tsunami, children, result in the giant waves which sometimes reach height of over 15 to 30 meters. And this result in the destruction of life and property near the seashore. Children, whatever is the disaster, whether it is earthquake, cyclone or tsunami, it causes harm to the life, property and the environment. Floods, another natural disaster. It occurs due to the heavy rainfall. Actually children, what happens when it rains heavily? All the water does not seep through the soil. So children, most of the water accumulates over the land and causing the waterlogging. So continuous rain for several days result in the overflowing of the rivers and submerging of the nearby areas. This condition is called the flood. And children, floods are the most common natural disaster of India. And as a result, children, what happens? So flood destroy the life and the property and lead to the unemployment in the areas. Not only this, children, there are many more effects of flood. First is excess of water in the soil releases the air present in it. That means, children, when there is excess of water in the soil, the animals living in the soil such as snakes, earthworm, insects and rats, they either come out or die. The roots of the plant rot in too much of water and the plants die. The crop fields get submerged under the flood water, causing a huge loss to the farmer. Many aquatic animals are forced out to die due to overflowing water of rivers. And this flood, children, causes the soil erosion. How they will cause the soil erosion, children? Yes, because the upper fertile layer of the soil gets washed away with the flood, and heavy floods wash away animals, vehicles, or even kacha house with them. So this way, children, the flood causes the massive loss of life and property. As you have learned that the flood causes massive loss of life and property. So there are some measures also to prevent the floods. That means, how can we prevent the floods? Yes, by building dams and embankments on the rivers, and also by through the interconnected canal system, and also by growing trees. So these were the some preventive measures through which we can prevent the flood. Now children, in India, states like Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Bihar and West Bengal are the frequently affected by the floods. Now children, as you have learned that the flood occurs due to the heavy rainfall. Isn't it? Yes. So what is the case when there is no rainfall? Yes, it will lead to the another natural disaster that is known as drought. Yes, we can say that when the drought occurs when there is no rainfall or the less rainfall. So children, when a particular area receives no rain or less rain than normal for a long period, it is said to be affected by drought. So what is drought, children? Yes, a condition of less or no rain over a long period of time is called drought. During drought, rivers, ponds, wells as well as other water resources dry up. So children, what will happen if all these water resources dry up? Yes, it causes the shortage of drinking water, drying up of crops and jump in the price of essential commodities like food items, sugar, etc. And not only this, children, even drought result in death of cattle and the livestock. But children, this drought not only caused due to the lack of the rainfalls. There are many reasons like hot dry winds, very high temperature and evaporation of moisture from the soil can result in drought-like conditions. And let's see what are the other causes of droughts. They are large-scale cutting of trees, grazing animals on the same land, and overplowing of the cropland. But how these can be prevented? Yes, they can be prevented by growing more and more trees as they give out the water vapor and help in bringing the rains. And also children, it can be prevented by harvesting the rainwater. So to save the people from these drastic conditions, government also play a very important role. So let's see what are the various roles played by the government. The government issues forecast and warnings. The government reaches to that places and save the victims. It opens rehabilitation center with food, clothing, water and medicine supplies. Not only this, children, they keep the food grain stock reserved for the adverse time. Many volunteers and non-government organizations provide the emergency help and take other rehabilitation measures. So this way, children, the government save the people, those who are suffering from these drastic conditions. Now I hope, children, you all have understood the types of natural disasters and also cause and effects of these disasters. So children, chapter is over and there is a homework for you. So let's see what is your homework. You have to define some terms. What are they? Yes. First is tsunami. Second is floods. Third is seismologist. Fourth is barren island. And fifth is drought. So children, complete your fair copies and learn all the question answers. So take care. Thank you.